The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, folks. Thank you for joining. Let's get this started the right way. Looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. I hope that everybody's having a good time today. First of all, we're going to take a look at the DAX chart, and you'll see here that we started a downtrend. We had the big ABCD yesterday, and now what we're looking at is we're seeing more of a pullback. We hit some major support here in the S&P here at this 2417, but frankly, I'm not sure that it's going to hold for very long at all. That's just my guess. And the reason for that is what we're seeing in some of these other markets with deflation coming into crude oil and then also into the gold market. In fact, since we're talking about the gold, let's take a quick look at this because this is really interesting what happened yesterday. Those of you folks that don't believe in Fibonacci numbers, I know they don't work all the time, but boy, when they work, let me tell you, they really are a thing of beauty. Take a look now at the crude oil here, and you'll see this is the gold market. Boys and girls, the old cowboy was up last night with the selling shoes on, so I'm a little bit out of sorts, but I'm okay. Just a little tired. The markets were pretty wild last night, so it was really something. But you'll see here that the gold right at Fed time hit a absolute perfect 61% retracement and has now dropped 25. What's actually dropped $30? We're down to 1254. We're breaking that major low that we had yesterday at 1261. Folks, this market's going lower. Near as I can tell, somewhere around 1246 is what it looks like to me. That's another, ABCD structure on this. Well, you can measure it. You went from 1299 down to 1260. That's $39. If you subtract $39 from 84, that takes you to 45. So that's probably where it's going, is 1245. Now, that's just the gold market. Now, you would say, well, if that's just that's just one of those things that happens, but it doesn't happen very often. Well, let's take a look at another market the same way. And then if we look at this silver market, what did we do? Boys and girls, a little drum roll here. You'll see the silver hit an exact 61% retracement also. And now, as you can see, this ABCD structure will measure down to almost a double bottom at 1610. So this is not a bullish scenario in the gold or the silver. We've been mentioning that. And it had one chance yesterday, and that was it. If we could have went powering through that 1285 level after the Fed, but we hit it instantaneously, and then it just gave up the ghost, and it started to go a lot lower. We've also broken down badly into crude oil. Remember, we mentioned that if we went below those old lows at 45, that we had some serious stuff coming in, and so you want to pay relatively close attention to the crude oil because we're coming into some really interesting, a real interesting pattern here in crude oil this morning. As a matter of fact, if I can find it, and I just did, I want to bring this up to let you folks take a look at it. You'll see here that we have a 3 drive to a bottom pattern forming here. That's also a 1.618 expansion over the past week's lows. So watch that level of around 44.20. You don't have to risk much from that point because if you go much below it, it's going to drop just like the gold did. So be very, very careful there. But that is a really nice 3 drive pattern coming in at 1.618 expansion. Boys and girls, I'm going to be doing a webinar for TFNN on Wednesday of this next week for my 24/7 subscribers. If you want to get onto it, If you'll go to the www.tfnn website, it'll be on the first page. I'm basically going to do 2 hours or more. I'm going to do some question and answers, but it's going to be basically an autobiographical move. It's going to be an autobiography of my 55 years of trading, the good, the bad, the ugly, the ups, the downs. And I just did this in Europe, and it was very well received. And so we're going to do it here to see how you folks like it. In fact, I was preparing some stuff for it last night, and I ran into something from my old Drexel days. I ran the commodity department there, and my boss came in one day with a rather attractive woman, and he said, "This is my wife's best friend," and I basically said, well, what can I do for you? And she said, well, I'd like to trade gold. Well, she was a recent divorcee. This was early December 1979, and gold topped January 20th, 1980. I spoke with her for about 20 minutes, and I couldn't open the account because, it basically what happened was she had everything was wrong. When you do business with the public, you have to be registered with the SEC and the CFTC and all these other things. And I had four licenses. I still do. But the number one license is a commodity broker's license, and that's Rule 405, know your customer. And she couldn't pass any of the three things that were necessary, to open an account. So she said, well, I'm going to go across the street, which was down, Rodeo Drive. And so she opened an account at Dane Witter with a woman who was really not a very ethical broker. Anyway, what happened was the Christmas party came up and the Hanukkah party came up, and she was there with Bob's wife, Gloria. And she came up with her P&S and showed me she had taken her $100,000 that she'd got from her divorce, and she'd ran it up to $220,000. And she basically said, I shouldn't be allowed to be a broker because I don't know what I'm doing. And she said, I just can't understand, how you could do this. And I said, well, I was just trying to protect you. Anyway, what happened was later on, about 2 months later, in February, I came in one morning, and Gloria was sitting in the office with her husband, Bob, and she never came in the office, especially at 6 o'clock in the morning. And so I walked in. I said, what's wrong? And they said, well, Myrna has tried to take her life. And I said, oh, my God, what happened? And she had lost all of her money. She'd ran it up to $400,000 trading gold, and then in January, after it topped in January the 20th, during those next 3 weeks, she lost everything, and she owed Dean Witter $275. That was about the value of her condominium, and Bob said to me, he said, it's really sad. He said, you tried to protect her, but it didn't help. And I said, you want to know what's really sad, Bob? And he said, what's that? I said, she can get all of her money back. And he says, how can that be? I said, Bob, she violated every rule of being for opening a commodity account. She was not qualified. And by golly, guess what? She got all of her money back. And do you think she ever came in to thank Bob for that? No, she didn't. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But those are some of the stories that we're going to go through, along with a lot of trading stuff of meeting Amos Hofstetter and so many of the market wizards. It'll really be a lot of fun. By the way, we're going to have Norm Winsky. The wizard will be with us at the half-hour break. 877-927-6648.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry, powered by the acclaimed TAS TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, folks, we have now posted the chart of the U.S. dollar index. As you can see, we've went down and we tested that 61% retracement for the fourth time. If you notice the triangles on this chart, what that's trying to depict is the time and price necessary to fulfill the equal retracements that we had over the last several months. That certainly came in at that 96.50 level, and it turned and it rallied very strongly off of that point. So my assumption is that we've made a very strong bottom here in the U.S. dollar. That means that the euro should be going lower. We're actually down 150 pips from the high that we made before the Fed announcement, and now, you know, it's a question of where we're going to find support. There should be some pretty good support in the euro around the 111.30 level. We've got down to as low as 111.40 so far this morning, but it's very, very close as far as whether it's going to be able to be a interesting thing. Now, those of you that like patterns, and I know some of you do, I shipped this out before the Fed came in, and that was we had this beautiful three-drive pattern. You notice the line at the top. I mean, it's just beautifully a symmetrical line. I mean, it just matches high to high, telling you that the price ratios are spot on. And it was a beautiful three-drive to a top pattern where the highs are pretty much exactly equal within about an hour. And then, of course, the Fed came out, and the market stopped at the 1,200 level last night. At 11.95, we rallied up to 112.30, which was the 382 retracement of that move down. And then we have broken down. If you'll notice on the far right-hand side, you'll see the 127 expansion there coming in at 111.30. We've been to 111.40, and that's the 78% level. So keep an eye on that, because we might get some type of a bounce here, but still it's a little bit it's a little bit early to say whether you're going to get too much of a bounce. We open here in about 20 minutes and in the stock market, and we'll see if the market can bounce. The Dow is still holding up rather well, but the NASDAQ has, certainly given up the ghost, and it doesn't make, it looks like it's going to be a situation where we should be heading lower. That's the way I would look at it. Now, we had a really nice move yesterday. If you'll remember, we were talking here on the air about the Japanese yen versus the U.S. dollar, making a 1.618 retracement. And as you can see, we did that. And then we had a beautiful rally today going right up to the 61% retracement of the whole move. There's an ABCD structure right there, and that's the real key to look at. Now, one of the patterns that you'll see here, if you'll notice on the move up yesterday, you'll notice the trend line that is drawn down there. That's where we have the 135 pattern. And once we broke above that 109.73 level, it was basically straight up, for 60 pips, which is $600. That's the equivalent to 12 handles in the S&P. So this is why the currencies offer such great opportunities. We don't see 12-point moves in the S&P. We did last night, but not often do we get that. So the currencies are by far the better things to trade because they have so much volatility. Plus, they have great liquidity, far better, thousands of times better than the stock indices. And in addition to that, it's cheaper. And also, it's 24 hours a day, 5.5 days a week. So it's got a lot of things going for it in trading foreign exchange. Now, many years ago, 40 years ago, the only way you could trade foreign exchange was to have $1 million account. That would be equivalent to about a $50 million account these days. But nowadays, anybody can have an account. For $1,000, you can open a mini account and learn how to do it. But those are just some of the things that you got to think about, when you're doing the trading, because it's very, very important. Someone asked me a question last night by email about how do you manage trades, and that's a really difficult thing to do, because if you've got 3 trades on, and I think that's quite a few to have on at any one time, you have to be able to manage them. And the main thing that you want to do is to be able to look at the situation where you have a really good spot to determine what your risk is, because if you can determine that, then you've got a really good chance of being able to, move forward and probably make some money on the thing. So that's the main thing to keep in mind as you're doing that. And I don't believe that many people think about that, because risk is the most important thing that you have when you're trading, because that's the only thing that you can do. I've also been asked to show this chart that we were looking at just the other day here when we were on the air. This was yesterday. Actually, it was before the market opened yesterday. We were looking for the market to complete these ABCD patterns in the Dow E-mini up here at around the 21,300 level. We hit 21,330, I believe, and now we're trading about 75 points below that so far. Whether that's going to be the high or not, remains to be seen, but at least it started, working in the right direction. That's one of the key things to look at. Oh, by the way, I do want to mention that we are going to have Stan Harley on tomorrow, Harley Stock Market Cycles, and he had a big day for yesterday. Whether that's going to be a cycle high or low, we'll let Stan tell us, but he'll be on the show tomorrow. And, of course, we have Norm Winsky coming up in about 6 minutes, so that'll be an interesting one to take a look at. I've also been asked to take a look at this Canadian dollar, because if we look at this Canadian dollar over a long period of time, you'll notice that we're coming into some really serious support in the Canadian dollar, down about 60, 70 points from where we're trading right now. If it's going to happen, it will most probably happen over the weekend, because you've had, 4 really strong down days. I mean, they're not going to get any buying on a Friday. I wouldn't think, but, you never know. There could be reversal or anything could happen. But this is a really interesting one. It's a beautiful pattern. You'll notice at the top up there at 138, we had 2 major ABCD patterns forming right at that number. And now we've come down, to this level. I get asked all the time, why ABCs don't work all the time, and the reason is nothing works all the time. God is the only one that works every time, and she doesn't trade. She gets bored with it. So you just got to focus on the amount of money that you have at risk, because the patterns do fail. If you don't think they fail, try it for a while. You'll see that they fail. If you can, be right about 55, 60% of the time, you can beat this market if you're able to, control your risk. And that's the whole key, to doing this, is controlling your risk. That's the real thing to be watching. That's the bottom line. That's the real thing that you want to be able to look at. I think that is the most important, and I'm 100% sure of that. And believe me, I don't say 100% very often, but that's what we're looking at. It looks like we're going to open down about 14 in the S&P, down about 80 in the Dow this morning. Another market that looks really interesting from the short side, folks, and I want to get this in before we get our break in with Norm, but the Treasury notes. Look at this. You want to see a bearish chart? Take a look at this one. This is the long-term ABCD on the Treasury notes. You'll see that is pretty much, what's happening.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I believe we have Norm Winsky of Astro Trend on the line. Norm, are you there?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning to you. I want to congratulate you. You came within one day of the high again with your double sell signal that you had there, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I hope you did the NASDAQ instead of the Dow. That would have been a little different.
Well, never really got involved in the NASDAQ. As you know, it's kind of a maverick index.
Yeah, it certainly is. Anyway,
so I just use it as a extreme. When the markets get extreme, I call it the bubble index and just use it as sort of a market indicator.
That's for sure. Anyway, why don't you go ahead and tell the folks what you got for us today here on June the 15th? Fire away.
Yes, sir. So I thought I would review what we did last week. All the dates, basically all the biggest planetary events of the month are all within this 1 week period from, I was on your show last Thursday and into the end of this week is most of the big energy. So we'll do a quick review, see how things came out, and there'll be some overlap. So we'll be looking at a lot of the same charts. So just to start off, I talked about when I was on there Thursday that on Friday morning, right around the New York opening, we would have a full moon at apogee. That doesn't happen. That only happens once every 7 months, 7 months, 14-month type cycle. And Jupiter would be turning direct. And since it's in Libra, that indicates sugar. Stocks of wheat, by the way, for anybody new out there, I will explain. This is very important to what we're looking at right now. So you need to understand what direct and retrograde means. There's a general category called a station point. This is due to the relative motion of the Earth to the other planets. If you were to go out and plot the planets at the night sky from the point of view of the Earth, you would notice that occasionally, individually, the planets appear that they have stopped their motion and then reversed their direction. When they stop momentarily, that's called a station point. And there's two kinds. One when it stops to go forward, that's called the stationary direct. And when it stops to go backwards, that's stationary retrograde. The principle here that I observed is that when the planets change trend, the markets change trend. And this works with a high percentage batting average. So here we go. So Libra is connected to sugar. Jupiter was in Libra, turning direct on the morning of the 9th. And there's your sugar, stocks, and also wheat is connected to Libra also. So there's your sugar topping out. I have to be accurate within one trading day or I count it wrong. So I expect to be right within 1 day. They're on 7:30 in the morning on Monday, the 12th, was the top for the sugar. Wheat was very interesting example because we had the 2 dates there. We actually had Monday the 12th. It was a kind of a double deal because Venus down here on the 12th at night, on Monday, we had Venus at aphelion. That's the planet connected to sugar and wheat. And so Venus aphelion is when Venus is at its farthest point to the sun as it goes around the sun. And so that was also the same market. So you hear wheat was very, very interesting. Yes, Larry?
That was a question one of our listeners has asked, how do you trade all of these things? He said, you've got so many things happening at one time. Can you trade all of them, or you just pick the ones that you like the best? I mean,
well, I have a system for that. Larry, I have a calendar, and then I rank the markets, what are the top markets for the month and that kind of thing. And then you watch for, your patterns there, your ABCs at these key times. And I think you're going to greatly increase your batting average that way,
I think so, but the question is, how do you put the orders in? Do you put orders in on all of them?
Well, that's an individual thing. If you got a large a fund, then you might be able to trade multiples. If you don't have as much money, then you have to pick.
Do you have a favorite trading vehicle?
Do I?
Do you rather trade wheat or S&P or gold, or is there something that you like the best?
No, the more you have multiple indicators, and whichever one where we have more decks lined up,
Okay.
Whichever one makes money, right, Larry?
That's what they say. It's all about making money. Go ahead.
Anyway, so look at the wheat. Wheat is really interesting here because it could reflect what the stock market is doing right now, where we had 2 big change in trend points, planetary things indicated for that market, and then it made a top right there on the 9th. and when Jupiter turned direct in Libra, and then it had another big planetary event happening on the 12th, and then the wheat made a low. Well, that you keep that in mind when we look at the stock market here in a few minutes, okay? Because we may have a similar situation here, because the stock market was already headed down, and we were kind of in my window here where I had multiple things happening. So it could be that we may be looking at something like that for the stock market. So let's look ahead here now. I also mentioned back here on the, let's see, where's that? After the close on the 9th, over the weekend, we had Jupiter lining up with Neptune. Neptune is oil, so we have to look at crude oil now and see what happened there. And as you can see right there, early morning, at 7 a.m. in the morning, Eastern time on the 12th, you had a nice little top there on the crude oil, and it's been down ever since, right? Mm-hmm. Although we may be, I got a big oil event coming up here, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. There's your stock market top there on the morning of the 9th, and as I referred to before. And S&P top right there, that's been so far been the high that morning.
It sure is.
Yep. Yeah, did you ever notice, Larry, there's a funny coincidence about I asked to come on your show, and then within a day or so we get big turns in these markets? I don't know how that happens. Do you?
Well, yes, I do. I found out that you're calling all your friends there at the CBOE, telling them to put those positions on to make you look good.
Oh,
okay. That's what they told me. So that's all I know.
All righty.
Go ahead, Norm.
There you go.
We must be on the same medication, my friend.
There you go.
Go ahead, buddy.
Crystal blue persuasion, right?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so here's Venus. Another Venus market is copper, and there you go. You made. No. We are not in Venus here. We want to look at this. That relates to something back here on the 13th. Let me see. Oh yeah. Okay, then we go to the Moon's north node. That's a cycle of the Moon in Leo, 120 degrees. That's a key angle to Uranus in Aries. So that tells you to go look at corn, copper, silver, and gold. By the way, to address the earlier question there, these cycles not only tell you when to look, they tell you where to look. So see, this cycle here told you should be looking at corn, copper, silver, and gold. Okay? Corn is a Leo thing. Gold is a Leo thing. Copper is Uranus. And silver is also the Moon's north node because it's the Moon, silvery. So let's go.
We have a question here. Another question from one of our listeners. And then how did you determine, which of the aspects works with the with the silver or gold or, heating oil or crude oil? How do you determine those planetary aspects like especially the zodiac, the question that they're asking?
That's a great question, and that would take a little while to explain. But
you have that in your course, right? You have it in your free course?
I give a lot of that away in my free class.
Yeah, with the money-back guarantee.
There you go. We're going to a commercial.
Yes, we are. We got to pay a few bills. Thanks, Norm. We'll be right back with Norm Winsky of Astro Trend.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN has put together the finest live programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 9 hours a day starting at 8 a.m. as John Logan kicks us off each trading day with the Global Market Pulse. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Mondays and Fridays, catch live trading on the Nadex platform with host Tom and Tommy O'Brien, along with Daryl Martin on the Bull Bear Binary Option Hour. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Catch the Money Masters as they teach you the art of mastering money when it comes to trading and investing. Next on TFNN.
Okay, we're back with Norm Winsky of Astro Trend. Keep on going, my friend. You're doing great.
Thank you. So we're just about to talk, getting ready to talk about the moonstorms known in Leo 120, Uranus and Aries, and we have corn, copper, silver, and gold. Watch for after on the June 13th after the close, so that could be on the 14th. It's something happening overnight there, and so let's go look and see what happened there. So here's your we did that to start. Right, here we go. Here's your copper chart. And right there on 1 a.m., right, bang, right, we're in the window there. We're exactly in the window because I said the 13th after the close means overnight, into between the 13th and 14th. It would be the exact time. I don't even expect it to be that accurate. 1 a.m. on the 14th, there's your top in the copper. All right, moving on down here. Here's your silver. You were just talking about that earlier in the show there, Larry. There's your spike high in the silver right at 9 a.m. in the morning of the 14th. Right?
Yep.
And man, can you imagine if you had this astro timing in with your ABC patterns and all on your stuff, Larry?
Yeah, especially when the Fed is there. I happen to have an order there in the gold I didn't get filled, but it's amazing, and it came in exactly at that time. You know, that's how I got started doing astrology. That Mary Rivers, she used to deal the moon in Scorpio, and of course she was trading a bull market and had a lot of bias. But these things do work, not 100%, but they do work. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, Norm.
No problem.
Fire
I
away.
was just going to say, with your stuff and the astro timing, man, person could be dangerous, huh? Right. All right, here you go. Here's your gold. Here's your gold trade, Larry. Right there, bang, bing, bang, bong. You said you had your Fibonacci target filled right there in my window for the 14th, right? So there we go. Here's your corn. Corn, believe it or not, corn is astrologically related to gold. Okay.
So the same color?
Well, I don't want to give away any secrets right now, but in the free class, we'll give it all away.
Okay, go ahead.
So anyway, there you go. There's your top there on the 4 a.m. on the 14th. Notice how close in time the corn is to the some of these other things, that you wouldn't even think are connected, right?
Yep.
So here's, yep. Now on the grains, I don't want to get okay, there we go. So now we're going to move ahead to the future. Well, sort of the future, in that we just had yesterday and today and in the next day or so. And so now we're in the sort of the present window here, which is the tail end of this, what I was calling a mega change in trend window. It's kind of like the plants were throwing a big convention here the past week, and they had all kinds of big stuff going on over the night of the 14th. That was last night. We had Mercury get to 0 north latitude. That's my other big thing. I talked about the station points. The other big thing at the top of my list is when the planets go around the sun on their highway called the ecliptic, and think of a carousel with the horses going around and around, but the horses also go up and down, and that's what the planets do as they go around the sun. They oscillate above and below their highway. When they're going up and get to the highway, right, even with the highway, the middle, they're at 0 latitude north. So, and if they're going south and they hit that at 0 south latitude, and that seems to be an important energy or balance point and tends to correspond to important changes and trends in the market. For the stock market, I think every one of those over the past several months has been within about a day of an important turn in the market. So we had one last night. Look at that. Mercury got to 0 north latitude. That seemed to be look at the stock market now. So that seemed to affect the stock market. We also have the grains. We'll look at those in a minute. Let me just mention also, you were talking about the dollar. Look at this, what we had for today, for overnight. It could be within a day. Last night, Uranus was 90 degrees to the U.S. Pluto. This is based on when the country was founded on July the 4th, 1776. And I had that as a major negative cycle for the U.S. Unfortunately, I was kind of right on that, and we had some people some of the congressmen get shot yesterday, and that was due to be a change in trend for your U.S. financials, which means stocks, bonds, or big change in trend for stocks, bonds, or the U.S. dollar. And you showed how you got to the dollar got to the Fibonacci target there right on the 14th, huh?
Norm, did you ever do any studying with the looking at the pyramids, either looking at Peter Tompkins' book or
I read that
John?
stuff. Read Tompkins' book long ago. I can see it on my bookshelf right now.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Just curious.
But
How about John Michel? John Michel, The Dimensions of Paradise.
Yeah, but frankly, I don't know how you apply that to the market. I try to keep things. I know myself looks complicated, but believe it or not, scratch below the surface. Once you get familiar with these terms and so forth, this stuff is really grade school level. The answer to that question before is, how do I know what sign of planets go with which markets? It's a first grade level question. That was the key to my figuring this stuff out. Once I realized that there's a literal simple connection to the signs of the zodiac in these different markets, I started figuring them out. That gave me a hypothesis to go test, and most of the time that works. Coming up here now, we have tonight, the 15th, we have a big thing for the oil. Neptune is the ruling planet for crude oil, and that's going to go turn retrograde tonight. So we could be looking at a change in trend for oil. Here we got some conflicting things going here with the oil. The oil's been going down, obviously. When the ruling planet of a commodity, that would be Neptune, goes retrograde, that usually has a general negative effect on prices. So what I've seen here in the past is when a market is declining into that point, often you'll get a bounce, and then it'll eventually go lower. So we could get I think that's what you were saying earlier, right, Larry? That we could be poised for a bounce here in the crude oil?
Yes, there's a 3-drive pattern there, right where it stopped at 44.30. So whether that's going to be the case or not, we'll see.
Okay, and then, of course, all these points relate to the stock market because unlike commodities, the stock market is the big basket of everything. It has no filters. All these commodities have a very specific sort of, you might call it a frequency. Think of a radio where you have a tuner, you tune to a particular station. The radio for the stock market, it has no tuner. You get all the signals all at one time, you see, so that's it. So here's something interesting coming up here for the stock market now over the weekend on Saturday the 17th. You'll love this, Larry. 55, that's a Fibonacci number squared, 55 times 55, is 3,025 days from March the 6th, 2009 stock market low.
Wow.
So that's
old Gann stuff, but that's
exactly.
Very interesting. And I like square roots. That goes back to Pythagoras, so that's an interesting number to watch.
There you go. So what does that mean for the stock market? I'll have to go back here to my S&P chart. We just had a big down. All my charts are as of last night before, didn't have time to allow for the overnight move here. But now looks like we topped out here. We're coming down for this to be kind of, think of that. What was the wheat chart? Yeah, they did that. We had two signals right next to each other. And so we had the top due here. And then now we have another point with Neptune turning retrograde tonight. So if we were to come down here, see what these big points, like these station points and planets getting the zero latitude, the markets often, it's like a magnet. The markets tend to gravitate to either the extremes, either the high or the low of the month. So what we want to see is the market come down and test the lows here. And now since we're already declining here in the next day or so, and then we could go into the weekend with that gain point. Okay, I guess it's time to...
Got to pay a few bills. Stay with us, Norm. We'll finish up at the end of the show.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're still on with Norm Winski of AstroTrend. Norm, finish up and then tell us a little bit how we can reach you.
Yes, sir. Just a quick kind of pull it all together here now. How do we make money with these dates? I would say if you team this up with some simple technical analysis, you're your ABC. Wait till you have get the ABC culmination pattern there, where things line up on one of these key dates. You're gonna, I think, greatly increase your batting average. You could be potentially doing batting in the 70s, or better. That's what I think, based on my research here, and so you might want to check it out. So anyway, here, how do we do that? Well, we get here we go I'm on page 6 now, Larry, and you can get my free the free letter and for a month, and you get to learn how to use this, and you get a free class. I have a 5-hour class on Skype, 1-to-1 individually, and customized to that level, a person's level of knowledge. And the stuff looks complicated, but I promise you, then we scratch below the surface. You get used to the terminology and so forth, which is not a big deal. You can learn 30, 40 things, so forth. It's really grade school level. In fact, I have to force people to dumb it down because overanalyzing this stuff, you won't get it. If you keep it simple, you'll get it. That's how I figured this stuff out, because I'm a simple guy, And so another thing, a thing I've heard people say is, "Oh, I don't want to learn a whole nother methodology." And this is like power tools. You're going to access the biggest computer that anybody can access. It's called the solar system. This time we are tuned into the solar system as human beings. And so this is what you saw there on all these charts. The market responds to these planetary events. So it's very simple. You can go look this stuff up. It's all empirical, objective information. And so there's only a little tiny bit of subjectivity to it. So you get a hold of me here, and you can get the free class. I already got everybody booked up now for June, so we'll get you in line here for July. It only have a limited number, small number of spots I do every month. And so get a hold of me for the free class. And here you go. Here's my Norm Winsky. There's my phone number, 239-594-3939. And Winsky at embarkmail.com. And Skype is norm.winsky, norm.winski. Thanks for having me on, Larry. Everybody have a great day.
Talk to you later. Have a good day, Norm.
Thanks. Bye.
See you tomorrow, folks. Bye-bye.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.